everyone. Welcome along today to the latest of our webinar series. If you've been along to some of the previous ones, I hope you've enjoyed them. And the good news is that the recordings for all of those sessions are now available. So I will drop the link to that in the chat in a minute or two so that you can get that. Today is going to be a really good session. I think we're looking at how to create your CV and digital portfolio. And my colleague Jasmine is going to be presenting today. Now, just to introduce Jasmine, she's a customer success manager who works in education. She actually normally covers our German-speaking countries. So she's always traveling around. Today, she's actually in Poland, visiting one of our customers there. And she's very kindly agreed to come along to the session today. Now, if you have questions during the session, we'd love you to ask them. So just pop them into the chat and we'll either answer them in the chat or else we can answer them live. And maybe if there's something you want us to show you or you want more details about, then we can do a little demo for you there. So without any further ado, I'll bring in Jasmine and we can get started looking at creating CVs and digital portfolios. Jasmine. Hello.
Hi, sorry, I was muted. Thank you for introducing me, Alistair. And hey, everybody, I'm very happy to provide you today with a workshop for creating CVs and portfolios. I hope some of you are already familiar with Adobe Express. If not, you all have a premium access when you just log in with your student credentials. So you should be able to follow me along. I think it's a very important topic to speak about CVs, also about portfolios. I just want to point out, so I work mainly in German-speaking countries, and I also was teaching in Germany, and I also hired people in Hong Kong. So I have a bit of background knowledge in how to create a very good CV and portfolio, but I really want to point out the expert for your country is usually your career service. That are the hidden gems of a university, if you ask me. If you need any kind of support, how to write a CV, because you need some more information, where should I put my address or whatsoever, reach out to them. So whatever I say today comes really more from a perspective from where I'm coming from, and it might differ, for example, if you sit in the UK. All right, I hope that is okay. As Alistair said, if you have any question, please pop that to the chat. And then I would say just let's begin. So first of all, let's just have a little bit of input about a CV. I think everybody understands that there's a very high importance of having a very professional, well-designed CV or creative portfolio. Why? I think you have skills and competencies and experience and interest you should definitely showcase, because that leaves the first impression if you apply for a job or as a freelancer. Right. So it's a very crucial point, the CV in the beginning, because that will be your entry point to the interview. And I don't know how many people of you have been to an interview or have experience with the process. You might understand if you go to an interview, there is a lot about your personality and if you fit to the culture. But to get to this point, you really need to have an outstanding CV, a CV that is easily readable, has all the information, is personalized as well for the position. And we have now with Adobe Express a tool that helps you to create a very nice CV or creative portfolio. We have professionally designed templates, which I'll show you in a second. You can also use web pages or presentations to create to showcase your portfolio. The first part of the session will definitely focus on a standard classic CV. And then in the second part, I will show you again creative portfolios as a presentation as well as a web page. So I would say, let's get started. I just need to share my screen. Again, I would just sort of my video, but any question, just please pop it in. Alistair, can you give me a quick feedback if you can see my screen
I can
properly?
see it, yes, thank you.
Perfect, wonderful. So, oh, 1 second. Something just went right away. Okay, so first thing we do, so we log into Adobe Express. Sorry, I have two separate screens. 1 second. Okay. All right, here we go. So when you log into your Adobe Express, you will be on the front page, as you can, everybody can see it. If you switch to the left toolbar, you will see the home button, a big blue plus, your stuff, brands, and then we have this button of templates. If you click on templates, you will be forwarded to our page, which has a lot of templates, professionally designed. And I think our first goal, we want to start with a proper CV, and we're looking for a template for CVs. You just type in the tool and the search bar CV. You can even make it a bit more narrow if you want to say, oh, I want to be, I don't know, engineering. You can also search for a CV for engineering. I would just type in CV to see what we can get. You see, we have a lot of options here. You will also see that you have some filter options, which is very interesting and important because you can already decide what kind of style you want to have. Do you want to have bright or bold? I would just go with non-style and pick one I find interesting. You can also check for the mood. Should it be more dramatic or even dark? And which is very important, if you have already lots of experience, you should check for multiple pages. You have a filter button here. It limits it a bit down. For us today, it's not necessary. We will just create a one pager. But if you have lots of experience, you need to use 2 pages. If you're a beginner, just a graduate, or just have 1 or 2 experiences, 1 page should be usually enough. Why is 1 page enough? If you are hiring, you usually just want to skip, or you just read the CV, and everything should be properly put in there, very organized, very neat, and as much information as necessary, but as less as possible. So that is why, if you have not much of experience yet, I highly recommend to stay on 1 page. I think just for purposes, I would go with Emma Woodhouse. Feel free to use the same CV. If you can also use a different one, please feel free. I use that one if you really want to follow along step by step. Happy if you just choose the same. You click on it, and then you can see customize the template, the button, and you just click on it. What you will experience now, it is opening the page of the CV we just have seen as a template. I recommend first thing to do, because otherwise I forget, at least that's my experience. On the left corner on top, you see now a title, and this one is called Untitled 22nd October. If you click once in there, you can give it a new title. So the interesting part about Adobe Express is that everything is saved on the spot. So there is no need for you to click on a save button or do anything. Really, it's saving every step along the way. But it would be great to give it a title so you can find it easily later. I call it CV Jasmine. So that's my name. And does it update? It takes a minute. Okay, there we go. You see now up there is my name and CV Jasmine, as I just named it. All right, so let's have a look on the CV. I would start with a picture because that's obviously not me. So when you just click on the picture, you can see on the left side the word image. Below you can find the buttons remove background, erase, remove an object, or insert an object. But you also have the opportunity next to the picture up top to replace it. You click on replace, and then you have the options to replace it with an upload. Sorry, I'm just reading the question. Yes, it's very great. Sorry, I just read the question. It's the ongoing. Yes. So if you're not advised to take a picture, you don't put it in, right? Just for learning purposes, I would highly recommend to try it out. And yeah, just to see how it's going, so you can use it for a different, maybe for your personal portfolio. So you have the options to once pick a picture. I will replace it with an upload. Upload means I will just put it out from my desktop. I prepared something, a headshot. Let's see. I would take her. I think I find it pretty nice. But I don't really like the background of the picture. I think that's not really handy, the stone wall. So what I can do now, if it's still marked the picture, you please just go on remove the background. That is a dog with the two background colors. One is white gray and the other one is yellow. You click on it and it takes a little moment to work. But now you see I do not have a background anymore, which I think is pretty cool. You see there is a different color because there was something like something behind it. I might want to change it because it doesn't really work with my picture. So if you mark that one by just clicking in it, you will see on the left side the option to fill out with a new color. I would love to go with the yellow in the blouse, right? So I would just use the eyedropper tool. You find it when you click on the filling color, and on top on the right side, you find this little, I don't know how you call it in English, but this little eyedropper tool, which helps
Yep.
you get this.
Eyedropper, it will be the same.
Okay, it'll be the same. Okay, wonderful. So you click on it and then you just hover over the blouse, and let's say maybe I wanna go for yellow. And then I click on the yellow star and you see my background picture is yellow. Now I feel it doesn't really look too good, to be honest. I don't really want that. Yellow is a bit too bright for me. So I would just use my return button and I just go back and leave the background blank. But you are able to put behind any color you want. You can even find a new background picture and just layer it behind. Next thing I recommend is you put in your name, right? That is how you do it. You just click on the text and you click once more, and then you will be able to delete or just put in your name. So I do not really like the font, to be honest. If you write a CV, please look. I know sometimes fonts can be very fancy. Please always keep in mind somebody needs to read it. And as easier it is to read, the better for you. So as I work at Adobe, so I might look for an Adobe font. You have over 20,000 different fonts available. I would just go with a very for me right now, very boring. I do a very classic CV, Adobe Clean, but you have also recommendations on top. If you just go over where you can figure out which font you want to use, we have also recommendation, and they just give you some ideas how it should look like and could look like. You just click on it if you want to. I can do that one, but I said for me it should be very readable. So I go back. Then you have a text below, which is usually a short introduction about yourself and your skills. I recommend, so let's say that's a very American style, but I recommend always students to put in at least 2 to 3 sentences about your skills. If you don't feel like I want to write a text about myself, which I can fully understand, you can also highlight 3 words about yourself. For example, you're a team player, or you have a very high skill set in design or something. I would mention it here as under your headline of the name, to help and understand why people should read the CV. Okay, So next part. So speaking about the education, also here we want to change the design because I have just picked up this theme Adobe Clean. So I might also change it here. I go to, I once again change my text. I want to have it a bit extra bold. So what is interesting, by the way, just for purposes, if you don't want to write everything down and you have an old CV and you just want to copy and paste, right? You can just, I do it here. You can copy text and then you just paste it in instead of what was written in there. So now it doesn't look really nice, right? But also for the text, you just click on it, mark it, and then you, with shortcuts, copy and paste the new text you want to have. I can elaborate on that, why it's advised not to use photos in CVs, because photos usually create a bias. So everything that creates a bias in a CV, people often or countries recommend not to do it. So there is no, that we don't have a stereotype type in mind and don't hire because of. And that is why there is studies about it, that if you have a picture in it, it will create a bias in your head. When I worked in Hong Kong, just an example, bias is not just only in pictures, it could be also in the address. I had a colleague working close to the Chinese border, and her way to work was over 90 minutes. So she left it out because the bias usually is if you need 90 minutes to work, you're often very late. So that would create a bias. So they recommended to leave that out as well. But really, it's different by country. But happy or glad that somebody said in UK, please, it's advised not to use pictures. In Germany, I highly recommend to use it, in Switzerland as well. All right. So yes. So what I also find very interesting, just as a short note, I hope you already know that, but just in case, if you write something like education, please work chronologically, but start with the latest one. So yeah, if you have done a bachelor, put in the bachelor, and then after that, your school degree. If you have a bachelor's degree, at least in European and German-speaking countries, you don't need to put in your school degree anymore, but really work always from the most current position to the low to the farthest away. So, and that's very important, really, because people look on the newest position you had and the newest experience. Well, if you want, so I like, she has skills. I really like that. But what I'm missing is for skills, I would like to have some other skills. For example, I would love to create language skills. So what I'm just going to do, I would just copy and paste by clicking on it, adding it to the top, and then I would just write in language. So and I don't creative leadership, I take it out because I don't have it. So let's say I have language skills and I just wanted to show you, because some, you have charts and grids available. If you just go down the left toolbar, and if you look onto charts, you can also see a progress bar, which is very interesting if you, for example, want to point out you speak 4 different languages, which I don't do, but let's assume you have other skills, like you're working a lot with Adobe Creative Cloud or whatsoever. So I would put in English. I might even, by copy and pasting it down, using German. You can also use any kind of skill, and then you're able to actually add this wonderful progress chart into it. You can measure the value on the left side. You can change it, right? Depending on the skill you have. Let's say German is my mother language. So let's put that one here. You will do it a bit nicer. like by shifting it, making it a bit smaller. But let's say I'm 100% in German and only 70% roughly in English. So, okay. What you can also do, which I recommend, which is not here. So she has used icons, little icons, which you can find under elements. I do not really like the phone because for me, nobody calls me on the phone if I have it on CV. Usually, right, we have an email. Or if you want, you can have LinkedIn as well. If you have a web page as well, of course you can. I highly recommend to use LinkedIn. Everybody going into the professional world, I assume, has already a LinkedIn account. Most human resource people I know who are hiring are looking and scrolling through LinkedIn. So even if you have less experience, it might worth is to have a profile there. It is free as well. But let's say I want to take out this icon. I don't really like it is because again, nobody calls me it today. So you go on elements. You also find it on the left toolbar. And then you have on top, if you check all design assets backgrounds, and we can also look on the last version for icons. And you see multiple little icons here. I would probably go for email. I just click on it once, so it will appear in the field. If you double click, you have two icons, just to let you know. And then by simply dragging and dropping, or also making it smaller and bigger, you just shift it to the right position as you want. So I don't like black. I think it should match the color of my CV. I still don't know what color it exactly is, so I use the eyedropper tool, click on my name, and then you already see it has the right color. So why do I show you that? Because you can now once add your email, of course. So, but what you can also do if you have a LinkedIn account, by the way, you can copy it in LinkedIn and then you just add it as a link. That would be, for example, if you say LinkedIn, very easy. There is the moment you click on the field, right? You see rewrite or link options. You click in link options and then you will be able to fill in the link. I just come up with one, okay? So if it's just if you try out, you will not get to any profile at the moment, but it's just for to highlight it. Oh, you see I have a spelling mistake. So let's take that out. Yes. So if you have reworked your CV, right, that is just an example of how you work through your CV. If you have done that, you want to check it with your colleague, right? So maybe, or your friend, maybe you have a friend who said, can you check for spelling mistakes? Do you have any opinion on that? And you don't want to print it out. What you can do, you can just go on share. And what I'm going to do now, I will share that one with Alistair. And write, hey, Alistair, could you please check out my latest version? So what happens now, Alistair gets an email with a link to my CV. And I hope he might comes in and has a look around and makes a comment. So it's very interactive and it's very helpful for you as well to get into it and really get the feedback on your CV. Oh, you see there's Alistair, so we are both now working in the same document. That is very important. If you want that the other person, there's a one, sorry, I start again. If there is anything in the document you don't want to be, that he's touching it and kind of like, or changes the picture or does anything, you can also always click on the item, it's a right click, and then you can lock as well. So if I lock the picture, Alistair will not be able to move my picture around. He can still work on everything else, but he's not able to change my picture because I really like my picture. So let's assume we are ready now. We have done our CV, it's fully reworked, and you want to download it as a PDF because still most of the CVs will be shared via email or you upload it to a specific system they have, but they request it usually as a PDF. So you click on the download button and you will find different formats. You can download this as a picture, as a JPEG. You can download it as a PDF standard, and that is the one you want to download. Or you can also download this as a print version, but I highly recommend PDF standard. You click on it, and then it's very important to make your mark at the accessibility tags. Yes, that makes it accessible for screen readers, which is very important. And then you just download the entire file. It takes a little second, probably here a bit longer because my Wi-Fi connection is not as good. And what happens now, it will directly go into your download folder. So there is no searching. It will be always everything you download in Express will be in your download folder. All right. So what I find
Just
very
wanted
interesting.
to mention, Jasmine, that this is something
Yes.
that we were chatting about in the chat there, so that we have the accessibility tags. Another important use of that is that there's a CV reading software like ATS software which will scan CVs automatically, and so you need to make sure that you're adding the tags because that software needs to have that structure within the PDF. So the tags just basically will explain what is a header, what is a paragraph. So it gives the structure so that that software can actually read it. So yeah, that's another really important reason from a careers perspective to make sure you include those tags.
Thank you, Alistair, for jumping in here. What I just want to show you as well is if you click on share again, you have the option to do a view only link, which kind of allows to create a link you can share. I share that because I worked with game designers and they usually apply on fairs for game designing. And what they do is they go and provide business cards. And usually they were people when they get into interactions and then people always send me your CV. I always recommend have a business card ready and put your CV and for as a QR code on it. So print the QR code, and when people go on the QR code, they get directed to your CV. So how does it look like? It takes a minute to create the link, but if you depends on your really depends on your position or what you want to apply for and where you're looking for new jobs. But if you go on fairs and stuff, I highly recommend to do that so people will have recognized you and remember and have the CV ready as soon as you think about you and want to find out more. So you see it takes a moment. I'm sorry for that, but usually here pops up a link you can just copy. And if you share that link, people will also just see your CV kind of as a web page. I might come back later and see how that works. All right. Is there any questions so far for the CV?
Yeah, I think we've answered most of them. There was a point about the tags. There was a couple of bits of feedback as well. I think for example, the scale that you've got there for the English and German. Someone Bernie there was just pointing out that a lot of graduate employers don't like that in CVs necessarily. So I think we might have a little bit another question there. Let's see. Yeah, all the languages using a scale to show proficiency. Okay, I
Yes.
understand.
Okay, noted.
Makes sense. Yeah.
As I said, well, I think it really depends on the country you're applying to. If you do it in Germany, everybody hypes it. It's kind of cool. But I think it also really depends on the industry you want to work in. If it's a very traditional one, or should it be a bit more, design oriented? I think it really depends on where you go. So that's why please get advice from your career service and for your country and as well for your industry you want to work in, and what is the recommended standard. So as you can see now, I just wanted to highlight, you have now here a link available. I can even close it, go back on share. You see view only link. I copy the link. I will open a new tab, just add it in. And in a second, you should see the CV as we just created, which I find really nice, because what I just said is, if you have the CV and you want to have it in a QR code because you want to share it, I don't know, you want to share it during a meeting, or again, you want to share it on a business card, you can go on quick actions on the front page, like on top, explore quick actions, generate a QR code. Here you can just add your link. You create a QR code, which I can probably pop in here as well. If you go on this QR code now with your phone, you will see the city as a web page, which I find really cool if you want to share your stuff digitally. But I highly recommend, if you apply for a job, send it as an email to make sure it has been seen and received. All right, if there are not any more questions, let's talk about portfolio as well, because I think that's a very interesting one. First of all, you can create a digital portfolio as a presentation. I want to show you here just the following. If you go on templates again and you search for digital portfolio, or let's say creative portfolio, let's see. I wanted to a creative one. Again, you will have multiple templates ready. Here, it's very important for you, as a portfolio usually contains more than one slide, right? For the type, check the filter multiple pages, and you will get only templates with multiple pages. I just want to show you. So the customization is the same as for your one-page CV, or you have a two-page CV. The difference in a portfolio is you write a bit different, right? It's not a standard CV, but you can also combine it at the end and send both. Lisa, you might want to answer while I just scroll through it and go to the next one.
Sure.
It's important if you work on a portfolio, right? You have more of a picture type, so you want to include a lot of your work. So if you want to send it, I recommend you to have a presentation, adding your material. How do we add a picture? You can either, of course, you can upload, you should, because it's your work, you should upload it from your desktop. You can, again, if you work with a template, you can once replace it, but let's assume you have nothing here. You have the media button on the left toolbar. You click on it and you can upload from your device here. Again, you just upload a picture. I just have a headshot because I'm a non-creative. So, and then you add your picture here, and you have multiple pictures. You can also add videos if you want to. But as it is very similar as how to do and work in Express on the CV, I really want to show you something else. I would love to create with you a web page, because for creative portfolios, it is pretty neat to have a web page and showcasing at any time your work. Therefore, we click on the plus button, and I will just type in the search bar web page. So you have web banner, you have Yahoo web banner ad, but I want to have the web page with you. Just to mention, so some people might use InDesign for CV. You can also use the InDesign file and take it into Express. It will just be uploading in Express and can be worked on there as well. So there is no either or. You can have actually work in InDesign and then bring it to Express as well. Okay, so let's work with a web page. I think I don't want to work with a template. I want to work from scratch, just to show you how you can create an easy web page. Create from scratch, you just click on the right corner. And there we go. So we have a blank page. All right, so And that is my title, that's my front page. So what I will do first is I type in my name. You can also just rename it and call it portfolio, whatever you feel like. I say portfolio. Let's say sustainable materials. I worked in sustainability for a while, that's probably why. I want to have a background picture, so I don't like the gray. So what I'm going to do, I would just click in the field anywhere, and then there should pop up this little thing. And then I would click on photo. So again, you can upload your own photo because it's your portfolio. If you don't have a photo, you're still connected to Adobe Express and Adobe Stock behind it. So you have access to millions of pictures you can choose from. So let me check. I do already take abstract textures because we speak about sustainable materials. I just use it as I don't have my own stuff, right? Okay. So that would be my title page. And now I want to start and scroll and write my own story. Let's say I want to probably have a short cover or a split layout. Let's go with a short cover, just to add to your web page a bit of new space. So my picture disappeared. I don't like that. Let's add a photo grid. Right? If you click on the plus button, you will see a photo grid. You click on it and we can add more pictures. I will go with the texture. You just drag and drop, I think. Can I just, yeah. So what you're going to do, I just go back. Sorry for that. I think I was a bit fast. Okay, again, you go on the plus button, you go on to photo grid, you go into, you upload your pictures, you can upload multiple pictures. I will just, again, choose from the pictures from Adobe Stock, and you just click on it once and it will appear. You just add multiples to see how it looks like. I need one more. Let's take a bit of fur. And then yes, I think I go on save. So you see now I have here some of my pictures available, but I feel there's something missing and I would like to add some text. So on top, again, on the plus, you can see, oh, text. And I just write, hey, I'm Jasmine, designer for anything. So it's just as an example. So which is kind of cool, but however, I still don't like the layout. I don't know why, but I don't like the font. So what you can do now, oh, it's still loading. I'm sorry for that. Well, then I show you something else as long as it's loading. So what you can also create is, it's still loading. Okay. What you can also do, you can add captions, of course, but you will be also able to, for example, add a button, because let's say you want to link your portfolio to your CV, right? Just imagine, let's say link to my CV. I can decide if the button is on the left, on the right, or in the middle of the corner. Let's put it to the middle. And you would just add your URL of your web page CV. And you will save the button. Oh, I have to. And you just save the button and you have link to my CV, right? So if you click now on the link to my CV, you will be forwarded as soon as the web page goes live. Yes, so I wanted to show you fonts, but it's still loading. It takes forever. I'm sorry for that. I just delete some stuff, so we might be a bit quicker. No, we're not. All right. However, on top, I would just rename it as already in the CV done web page, Jasmine. And so now we just wait. I'm very sorry, my internet is very slow. Sorry, I can't really show you what I want to do. Okay. So what happens usually, just show you without, oh, there it is. Okay, wonderful. Just on time. So on top of the web page, you have this black bar, and you can go back and forth, right? But what you can do, you have, how you call it, like the thing Harry Potter owns.
A wand.
A wand. I'm sorry.
Magic
Yeah, a wand.
wand.
A magic wand. You have a magic wand. If you click on the magic wand, you will see that you have different themes already for the web page. So for example, if I click on nightcap just to demonstrate, you will see it changes slightly the layout. I'm not sure if that was a smart idea, as it takes forever. Okay. However, you can also create your own theme. That is, you just go on create a new theme, and then you can see, you can upload your own logo, you can add your own background, title and header, how it should look like. So you can add it with more round corners or without round corners. And that is very helpful if you want to match it with your personal branding. That is something you can do, but you can also, of course, work with one of the already provided themes that are available. Yeah, but again, takes forever. Sorry for that. I'm just dropped out, but it's good. So I can, there you go. The other thing you can do on the top, next to the magic wand, you have this eye, which will give you a preview of your web page. So right now, I think I don't see much, unfortunately. And on the other hand, you can present it. Give it a second. Are there any questions I can answer so far? No.
Yeah, I don't think we've got any more questions at the moment.
Okay. Hey.
I mean, I do love the I think it's this sharing and collaboration kind of elements of it, because I think one of the things, if you're creating work that you want to put in a digital portfolio, and you want to evidence to employers, for example, the type of work you've done. So you're not just saying, oh, hey, I know how to create a presentation, or I know how to use generative AI. You're actually evidencing what you're doing as well, right? And I think I love, that's what you're showing us there, the Jasmine, that the people can, they can take the work they've done,
Yes.
and it's easy to share it as well. So they can grab a link. That link can be shared out on your CV, or shared out in an email and things like that. So it's super handy. You can put this on your LinkedIn page and things like that. I think it's really good.
Yes. So you see now my design has totally changed because I changed the theme. I don't want to switch back now because then it really again takes a long time to load, and I don't want to have that. It's still loading, as I'm not able to actually share my link right now. If I would be able to share, you again see the blue button with share on top. Please click it, and then you click on publish if you want to try it out now. If you click on publish, it will generate a web page link, which is a link you can share with anyone you want, and they can have a look onto your web page, the fully final version. Important for you is whenever you update, it will be automatically updated on the link as well. So I will always see, when I only have the link from your webpage, I will only see the latest version of what you have. Okay, sorry, I can't see the question.
Yeah, it's more of a comment from Dawn. She's just saying, it's it's good to remember to adjust your CV for every job that you apply for.
Yes.
And you know, I think you do see that. And I've been you know, interviewing for positions as well, and you see the CVs coming in, and people haven't really, you know, taken the time to maybe make little changes to their CV or their covering letter to you know, to take the job into account and the skills that the job is looking for. So yeah, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. Yeah, very, thank you. I think it's important to not be scared to sometimes also probably put skills as a priority, or don't be scared to maybe also leave skills out if it's really not matching the job. I think people tend to put everything they have on a CV, which is great, but then it's not really matching the position you might apply for. So here, a very nice tip. Really adjust the CV based on the position you're applying, also based on the requirements they want, right? So if it's very important to have language skills, I would highly recommend to put it on the CV. Or if it's important to have a driving license, why whatsoever, I would put it on. Otherwise, I would recommend to not put on that you have a driving license if it's not necessary for the job, right? Just keep that in mind. Okay,
And
I still
on the
can't.
topic of skills, I would say is
Yeah.
that we also have our digital badging as well. So
Yes.
again, if you're looking to kind of evidence those digital skills that you've picked up, and the Adobe digital badging, which I'm just going to drop into the chat there, um, these are short courses that are, you know, in total they're about a couple of hours, but they're broken down into kind of 20-minute modules. And that'll give a digital certificate at the end as well that you can use to evidence those skills that you've gained. So they cover a wide variety of different topics, all around the digital skills. It does include Job Essentials as one of them as well. So yeah, definitely worth checking that out. And all of our creative campuses are eligible for our digital badging.
I just want to highlight one more thing in the web pages. You won't be able to actually embed any video out of the stock possibilities you have in Express, but you will be able to add a YouTube format or Vimeo just via link. Oh my goodness, I think my computer just got stuck. I'm sorry for that. Um,
If you want to share that with me, Jasmine, I could maybe share it from here actually.
I can't, I'm very sorry, I can't even share. So
Okay,
it seems like it's
no
very, my
problem.
page says it's unresponsive, so I don't want to, that's my problem. I'm sorry. So it got out. Let's, so, but I mean, you can still see my screen, right?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, but it's a good point to show you. On the front page, under home button, you find on the left toolbar, you find your stuff. It's a little folder. And if you go on that, you can see a lot of stuff you created. So I created a lot. That's why you can see. You can even create your own folders and um, organize your creations. But here you will always find all your files. So you saw I just created the creative portfolio without doing any changes, but it's still saved as my project. So I can just go in and work again on it. You see my web page, but let's see if it's more responsive this time. Doesn't look so good. I have to say that is really due to my connection, I guess. So, oh no, here we go. Now it's there. So again, I just wanted to show you that you can embed a fantastic video. I just found one on YouTube I want to add. You create the link and save it. So if you have your own portfolio and you might have your own private YouTube channel, you can just use the links from there. Or if you have something on Vimeo or any other platform with YouTube links, with links for videos, you can add it. And so it is embedded. So if I want to share the link now, I don't want to invite collaborators this time, but I could. I could invite Alistair again to help me with the web page. It is important when working on web page. Simultaneously working is not the best. So usually one or the other. In all other Express work, you can always simultaneously work, but I just want to publish it to web. So I give it a title. I just say web page Jasmine. Allow others to remix. I don't want that. Otherwise, I give others the permission to change something, or I don't. And I also don't want to give it a password, because just for making it more easy. So I will create a link. My project will be published, and after that, I have a link I can share. I will share it in the link so you can have access and you can just scroll through it. As you see, you can't see much, but give it a second. There you go. So now I have a link to share. I copy it, I add it to the chat. There you go. And you have a web page ready. I will also show you how it looks like. So it's loading. I hope, there you go. And you see that would be the web page. Of course, right now, just based on the time we have, it's just as an example how you can work on that and add your portfolio ideas and creative work. Again, please, you can use the photo grid. I just left it out to save some capacity of uploading stuff. All right. Is there any other question?
No, I don't think we have any other questions. If anybody does have some, please drop them into the chat and we're happy to pick those up.
Okay. One thing I just want to mention, because then I just go out. One thing I want to mention, if you're an international student, for example, it often makes sense and you want to apply in this country to really include in your CV your current status of visa. For example, when I lived and studied in Hong Kong and then wanted to work there, I had a special visa which allowed me to work right away. Otherwise, I create the bias, right? If I'm a German, want to work in Hong Kong, there's a lot of trouble with visa applications. So if you're a foreign student and you want to work in this country, that is often very helpful to write your current status. Again, yeah, anything else?
Yeah, I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much, Jasmine. I thought that was great, and I think you really showed the kind of power and flexibility that you've got with Express and all the templates that you have available, how easy it is to share. Super great. As you said, you've got career services and all the universities are absolutely the experts. If you're a student watching this, and I can see that many of you are, reach out to your career service. They have fantastic advice in terms of your job search, how to build a CV, a portfolio. Those guys are the experts. They're fantastic. I have dropped some links into the chat for a few things that might be of interest to people. So we've got more of our webinars coming up. On Thursday, we have a webinar on digital storytelling with Mark Andrews, who's our pedagogical evangelist, which is not easy to say. And Mark's absolutely fantastic, and I know he's planning a really great session there. So do sign up for Thursday as well. We've got our digital badging. You can sign up for our Creative Campus newsletter as well if you want to stay up to date with all of these programs that we've got going on. And in November, we've got a fantastic week for staff. We've got the Adobe Education Institute, and I would invite all staff members to sign up for that. It's going to be a whole week of digital skills enablement for staff, which is going to be virtual, and you can choose which sessions you want to go to. So check that out as well and have a look. So thank you very much. I think there was one additional question. I'm not sure if we were going to be the best people qualified to answer it, but there was a question about visas there, which was, yeah. Oh, you've answered it already in the chat.
I answered it.
Fine. Yeah.
Maybe let me add to the student visa. So you just give information that you will eligible to work until when, figure out in a discussion whenever you're invited to an interview. Again, you provide information that is necessary, but you don't have to give everything you have, because it's just you want something in the interview to discuss as well. And as soon as you're still eligible, you don't have to give any information usually on the date. But again, go to the career service, double check for your country, because as I said, I only speak for Hong Kong or as well Germany.
That's great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining today. And as we said, in a couple of days, the recording of this session will be up on our YouTube channel as well. So feel free to share that too. Have a look at the other recordings of the other sessions that we've done as well.
Alistair, one more question, because I think that's very helpful. Once a student has graduated, how can they maintain access to all items they have created during their time as a student?
Yeah, no,
Wonderful question.
That's a good one, and I think that came up earlier as well. So once you've graduated, we do have a graduation portal. And now what that'll do is that'll basically copy all of your work that you've created, all the assets you've created during your time as a student to a personal account. If you don't have a personal account already, you can set one up as part of that process. If you have, I did drop the link for the technical notes on that a little bit earlier in the chat. I'll just pop that in once again so that you've got that. Just find that real quick. Yes, here it is. And I'll put that in there. Yep, and that's you know, so once you graduate, then you can migrate all of your assets over. I did put a note in about portfolio. You can still graduate, you can still migrate your portfolio assets to, it's just a different process, and it's detailed in that document. OneDrive and other digital storage platforms, that's, we don't know, basically. That would be Microsoft. You'd need to ask about that one. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming along today. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you at another one of our sessions. Thanks very much.
Bye. Thank you.